Guys, welcome again to our YouTube lecture. So in today's class we are going to study about conditions in Python. So basically what are conditions? Conditions are like let me give you a real world scenario that if uh, we take condition as like marks of students. So if the marks of student is 90%, then he will be awarded with A grade, and if marks of student are 80%, then he would be given B grade, and then for C he would be given if he had 70% mark he would be given B C, and at the end if he has less than 50%, then he will be given F grade. So basically in this we are using conditions like if he has 80% marks, then he would be awarded this grade. So that same scenario we are going to discuss about here in if and else condition. So basically in if we are passing the condition, like if in real world scenario if is like a condition, and after if we have to pass the condition is what, like we have marks. So marks we want to check, and this equal to means we are not assigning, basically we are here comparing. So this double equal to is used to compare the values, and single equal to is used to assign the values. So basically we are here comparing our values. So let me just compare here our marks for. So let me take here if we say that marks are greater than or equal to 90, then what will it do? Like our marks are greater than or equal to 90, then I want it to print that. What I want to print? I want to print here sorry, let me just type here again, and I want to print here that you are awarded with A grade. So basically marks is not defined, so let me just define it here. Like if we run it, or we have to compare it, like marks are not already defined, so let me just define it. So let me just initialize it here, like we want to initialize our marks here. So basically here we are passing some value to the mark, that this is our value of mark. So let me just paste here that our marks are 67. So let me just compare it. Like for first condition we are checking that if marks are greater than or equal to 90, so it will print this statement. But to write another condition we have to use elif. So in other programming languages like in Java or other programming language C++, there is no any concept of else if elif, sorry, there is if else concept, but in Python we have elif as well. So for another condition I want to check that if marks are greater than or equal to 60, and so we are applying here two conditions, like marks are greater than 60 or equal to, and marks are less than 90. So earlier we had this condition that if marks are greater than or equal to 90, then we have to award A grade, and if marks are greater than or equal to 60 and less than 90, then what we have to do? Then we have to award him other grades, like you are awarded with B grade. So this is just a simple example, so no need to worry about this grading concept here. So let me take another condition here, like same elif condition. If marks are greater than or equal to 40 and marks are less than 60. So earlier our condition was less than 90, now we are passing our condition 60 because this condition is greater than or equal to. Here we are passing value less than 60. So for that we want to award another grade, like let me award him the grade here, that you are awarded with C grade. So these are our conditions. Like first it will check this condition. If it is not suited, then it will run for next condition, that will check next condition, and if all of these will not work, then it have to execute else part. So else will execute if none of our condition works, like none of our if or elif condition works, then this will by default run at the last. Like if none of the condition other fulfill, then it has to execute. So let me print here that you are, so let me, like if he does not fulfill any condition, let me pass him the grade, like you are awarded with F grade. So this is our simple condition. So now we can see that our marks are 67. So this is hard coded, but in real time scenarios we do not have to hard code, we have to take input from the user. So we will later on see that how we can get input from the user. So now we can see that our marks is 67. So it will check for first condition, that greater than or equal to 90, but it is not greater than 90, so it will skip this condition. Now it will check that our marks are greater than or equal to 60. So our marks are 60, it fulfills, and it is greater than 60 as well. So this is greater than 60 and also less than 90. So now this condition will work, and if first condition is fulfilled, then it will not check for other condition, like this condition or other condition it will not check, it will just check the first condition it fulfilled. And now if we executed our, so now if we execute it, so we can see our output here. So let the kernel just come. So you can see that you are awarded with B grade. So basically our this condition gets fulfilled, and we get our resultant output for this condition. And after checking this condition, it did not check any of the block of the code after this condition, it will simply get out of our program. So here is a basic example about if else. So basically there is nothing difficult, like if is just a condition type, that if, as we use in our day-to-day life conditions, same condition we are using here, that if marks are greater than 90, then award him A grade. If elif if marks are greater than or equal to 60 and less than 90, award him B grade. So this is a basic example about. So now we are going to see that how we can take input of marks from the user, so that every time the user inserts himself the value for marks, and we will check that value, and then we will see the output here. So now let us see that how we can take marks as an input. So there is a built-in function in Python which is input. So let us call that input function, and in this input function we have to write our print statement. This will basically ask the user that what it has to insert. So here is just the statement which we want to ask the user that what he has to insert. So let us see that enter your marks. So here the user will insert his or her marks, and then we will check this condition for that. Oh sorry, this should come inside it. So yeah, now if, so basically the input which the marks take, input always takes value in a string type. So let me just hover on it. So we can see that it always read a string from standard input. The trailing new line is stripped the prompt string if given is printed to standard. So always the input which we give in an input function, it is taken as a string. So basically marks are numbers, so we cannot compare string with this, we have to convert them into numbers. So there is a type casting method using integer. So here we are changing the type of our input. So let me just convert this whole input into a int type. Let me just now if we run it, we can see that now it is convertible to integer. Now this is converted into an integer. Now if we run it, so it will take input here. So let me just pass our input, like I want to pass my input here 60. So let me enter it. So we can see that we had inputted our 60 here, so he has awarded us with B grade. So again let me run it, and we want to check here like for 90. So let me just pass 99. So now if we run it, we are awarded with A grade. Now it checked this condition and it found it fulfilled. So then it code executed just this piece of code, and then it came out of our block of code, and it the remaining condition it skipped. It did not check for any of them. Let me just run it again once again. Now let us just skip all the conditions, and let me pass here value 30. So let me just pass the value here 30. Now we can see that it skipped all the conditions and it ran for the default condition. Like if none of the condition fulfilled, then else piece of code will get executed. So we can see that you are awarded with F grade. So this is a basic example about if and else, and how we can use and how conditions are executing in the order, and how we can typecast our input. Like our input is always standard integer type, string type, and we have to typecast it using int to convert it into an integer. So now we can see that it executed successfully. So earlier we had seen that if and else condition. So it is not always necessary that we have multiple conditions. We can have yes or no conditions as well, like if and else statement. So let's take a scenario that we are visiting a mall, like for shopping. So we have our pocket money. So the pocket money which we have, according to which we will select that what we can purchase and what we not. So let me just take an example here, like let me take my integer here is pocket money. So like our pocket money, this we will take input from the user, so that he has to insert the value here, that what is pocket money. So like insert your pocket money. Now it will take this as a string, and we have typecast it into an integer type. So let me just typecast it into integer and close with the closing brackets. And now we are checking if condition, like if pocket money is greater than like 700, or let me just say 500, then what we can do, we can you can purchase a bat. So this is our condition, that if pocket money is greater than 500, then you can purchase a bat, and else. So here we had just satisfied our condition that it must be greater than 500, and else if it is less, then we have to print that you cannot purchase a bag. So now this is our if else condition as well. So we can see that if condition will check that if our input like pocket money is greater than 500, then it will print us that you can purchase a bat. Else if it is less than 500, then it will show that you cannot purchase a bat. So let me just execute our piece of code. So here we have to pass our input. So let me just pass our input here, that 500. Now we are given that greater than 500. Now if we, so let me just, I just missed some, let me just pass 500 here. So now I had given 500 here, but here we are giving that greater than 500. It is not equal to 500, it is greater than. Here we are passing, but here we are passing 500, so it is not greater than 500. Now if we run it, So what would we expect our output? Should we purchase a bat or not? So let me just run it. You can see that you cannot purchase a bat because it is not greater than 500. 500 is not greater than 500, but if we use is equal to operator here, that it should be greater than or equal to 500, then we can purchase a bat. So let me execute it again once again, and let me pass again 500 here. So now we can see that you can purchase a bat. Now we had changed our condition that if it is greater than or equal to 500, then it should print this statement. Let me again run it, and let us see that if let me just pass here 222, you can see that our else piece of code got executed, that you cannot purchase a bat. Now if we had now if we have just if piece of code, like we have this piece of code and we don't have any else block. So now if we execute it, and let me pass our input here, like here 500. So for 500 it fulfilled, like we have print statement, but we did not have any else piece of code. Like if we pass less than 500 here, like 200, now we can see that we did not get any output, but it did not give an error. It just skipped that there is no any else piece of block, so it did not print anything for us. So this is a basic structure around if and else statement, which we use in our code to satisfy some condition in our piece of code, like if the username like matches this, so uh, authorize him to login, and if does not, then ask him to reset your password or login again or try a new password. So this condition system is used, if else piece of block is used in our authentication systems in our web applications. We can also use like if we are using single if, we can also use if inside our app. If let me just take here that, let me take some bigger number here, let me take 1000. So let me just remove this greater than equal to sign. So now we are checking that if pocket money is greater than 1000, so what we can purchase a bat. But if I am using again if inside our if, but we are under the same piece of block of the if, we are using indentation here. So indentation, for now I want to check another condition, that if pocket money is greater than, let me just take 3000. So what I want to do, I want to print, like now we can see that for this if, this piece of block will run, like for this there is indentation and this piece of block will run. So we have to take consider of the indentation in our if piece of block, that when we are writing conditions we have to take special care around the indentation, because indentations can cause us runtime error or syntax error. So let me just print here that you can also buy a, let me just TV. So let me just pass another condition. If it is greater than 3000, you can also pass buy a TV, and we can again use an elif condition here, that elif. So now it will check that if first condition satisfies, then it will run this for, and if it does not satisfy this condition, then it will come to this piece of code. So let me check that if pocket money is less than, let me just take 2000. So let me just take 2000 here. So now this piece of code will run for this elif block. So let me just take print here that let I am okay with bat. So this is our condition. Now it will when we will run it, it will first check that if pocket money is greater than 1000, then it will print this statement, and then it will go to this if block. It will check that if it is also greater than 3000, then it will say that you can buy a TV. And if this condition does not fulfill, then it will check that either if it is less than 3000 and 2000, so it will run for this print statement. So basically it will check one by one condition for it, and if it found any condition fulfilling, then it will just execute for that piece of code and it will come out of our condition. So we can now also use else here, like elif here. So here the condition which we will pass, it will again check that if this condition does not fulfill, then it will check for this condition. So let me just end it here like with else. So earlier we had passed a lot of condition there. Else we want to just print here that return to home. So let me just pass here return to home. Now this is our piece of code. So let me just execute it. So here we have to pass our input pocket money. So our pocket money is greater than, let me say, 3000. So now it will check that this condition is fulfilling, then it will run this piece of code, then it will check this condition for this, and it also greater than 3000. So we are using it greater than 3000, but it will not fulfill, and it will not fulfill this as well. So it will just print this statement and it will return for us. So let me just run it again. So you can see that, let me just enter it. So you can see that it just executed this piece of line for us, and it came out of it. It did not check for any of the other conditions because it does not found any other condition fulfilling it. Now let me just run it again, and here if I pass 33,000. Now if we run it, you can see that it checked first condition, that it get fulfilled. Now in this if condition, it checked the next condition, that it is greater than 3000, then it found that yes it is greater than 3000, then it printed this piece of code, and it did not check for the next condition, that either it is greater than or that. So it just came out of it and stopped execution after this piece of code, like executing this our if piece of block. So these are basic about if else statement. Please try to practice around it and try different permutations combinations. So that's it for today, and take care, bye, and next lecture we will discuss more topics around conditions as well and loops. Bye.